What you are about to hear has been scrubbed from the official forums and deleted from the fan pages, but the digital footprint remains if you know where to look. We have received insider reports that suggest the reality you see on TLC is not just edited, but entirely manufactured to cover up a fracturing family dynamic that is spiraling out of control behind the scenes. We are talking about allegations of secret financial trusts, a hidden legal battle between siblings, and a production ultimatum that threatens to end the show permanently. The smiles in the promotional photos are allegedly hiding a civil war that started 3 months ago, involving a leaked text thread that Trent and Amber have reportedly spent thousands of dollars trying to bury. If you think you know the truth about why Anna really moved out, or the real timeline of Liz's relationship, you have been fed a carefully crafted lie. We are peeling back the layers of the Johnston empire to reveal a theory so dark it changes every single episode you have ever watched. Before we open the files and expose the secrets that the network doesn't want you to know, you need to hit that like button and subscribe to 7 Little People right now. If you want us to keep digging and bringing you the unauthorized truth that no other channel dares to touch, prove it by turning on notifications. We are the only ones talking about this, and you do not want to miss what comes next. Let's start with the most explosive piece of information that has been circulating in private Discord servers and insider message boards over the last 48 hours. According to an anonymous source claiming to be a former production assistant who worked on the most recent season, there is allegedly a lost episode, or at least a significant amount of footage that was permanently shelved by the network. The theory goes that during a heated family meeting regarding the future of the show, the cameras caught a genuine, unscripted breakdown that shattered the fourth wall. We are hearing reports that one of the older children, and the speculation points heavily toward Anna, or potentially Jonah, finally snapped regarding the distribution of the show's earnings. For years, viewers have theorized that Trent and Amber control the finances with an iron fist, but this new theory suggests it goes much deeper than just strict parenting. The report claims that the children were allegedly presented with non-disclosure agreements that would bind them to the show for another 5 years in exchange for access to their own trust funds. This is where the narrative gets murky and incredibly dark. If this theory holds water, it means that the independent storylines we are being fed, the moving out, the job hunting, the struggles with adulting, are actually a cover for a financial hostage situation. Imagine watching those scenes where Trent lectures the kids about budgeting and fiscal responsibility, all while knowing that, according to these exclusive theories, he might be holding the keys to the money they legally earned by having their childhoods filmed. This insider chatter suggests that the lost footage involves a confrontation where this financial structure was explicitly called out, leading to a screaming match that was so raw and so damaging to the wholesome family brand that executives allegedly ordered the memory cards to be wiped or locked in a digital vault. This aligns perfectly with the sudden, jarring tonal shifts we have seen in recent seasons. Have you noticed how some episodes feel disjointed, like we are missing a huge chunk of context? That is because, if these reports are true, we are watching a story with the middle pages ripped out. The editors are frantically trying to stitch together a coherent narrative from the scraps of footage that don't reveal the underlying resentment bubbling just beneath the surface. This brings us to the Anna theory. This is perhaps the most heartbreaking and compelling piece of the puzzle. The official narrative is that Anna is the rebellious child, the one who struggles to fit into the mold, the one who causes friction. But our deep dive into these new reports suggests a complete inversion of that dynamic. The theory posits that Anna isn't the problem child, she is the whistleblower. We have uncovered speculation that Anna has been quietly gathering evidence, text messages, emails, and contract drafts, that document the alleged psychological pressure placed on the siblings to perform for the cameras. The reason she is constantly painted as the outcast is not because she acts out, but because she is the only one refusing to follow the script. There are whispers of a secret plan, a strategy Anna has been formulating to launch a tell-all project the moment her contract expires. This perspective completely reframes her estrangement and her difficulties with Amber. It's not teenage angst, it's a calculated distance. When you see Amber critiquing Anna's choices or making those passive-aggressive comments about her ability to manage a household, you aren't seeing parenting. You are seeing a manager trying to devalue an employee who is threatening to go on strike. The insider suggests that the reason Anna was pushed so hard to move out wasn't to teach her independence, but to get her out of the house where she could overhear sensitive production discussions. They needed her physically distant to stop the leaks. And speaking of leaks, Let's talk about the mysterious social media activity that happened last Tuesday. For exactly 12 minutes, a post appeared on a burner account that many sleuths believe belongs to a member of the extended Johnston family. It was a cryptic image of a legal document with the caption, "Truth comes out in deposition." It was deleted almost instantly, but not before screenshots were taken. While we cannot verify the authenticity of the document, the timing coincides perfectly with the rumors of a contract renegotiation for the upcoming season. If the family is indeed in the middle of a private legal battle, it explains why the on-screen drama feels so forced lately. They are overcompensating. They are trying to distract us with manufactured plotlines about car troubles and dating mishaps to draw attention away from the real courtroom drama that might be unfolding. This leads us to the Liz and Bryce situation, which is a rabbit hole all on its own. The public story is a roller coaster of breaking up, getting back together, and starting a family. But the exclusive theory we are looking at suggests that the timeline we were shown was manipulated by at least 6 months. Why would they do that? To sync the major life events with the filming schedule and sweeps week. There is a growing belief among the truth-seeker faction of the fanbase that the breakup wasn't entirely organic, or perhaps the reconciliation was expedited by production incentives. We have heard rumors of a relationship bonus clause in reality TV contracts, a financial kicker for weddings and babies. If you look at the eyes of the cast members during those confessionals, really look at them, you don't see the spark of romance. You see the exhaustion of people who are working a job. The theory is that Liz, feeling the pressure to carry the show's storyline as the other siblings drifted into the background or rebellion, accepted the burden of being the perfect Johnston daughter. But at what cost? The insider reports allege that there are hours of audio, captured on hot mics when the crew stepped away for lunch, where Liz is heard expressing deep regret and anxiety about living her life for the audience. This isn't just about a TV show anymore. It is about the commodification of a human life. We need to talk about the Trent transformation. In the early seasons, he was the goofy, lovable dad. Recently, viewers have noted a harder edge, a shorter fuse. The exclusive theory explains this change not as aging, but as panic. If the rumors of financial mismanagement are true, and if the lifestyle they have built, the big house, the cars, the renovations, is entirely dependent on the show continuing forever, then Trent is a man under immense pressure. He isn't just a dad, he is the CEO of a failing corporation. Every time a kid wants to quit, or a storyline falls flat, his livelihood is threatened. This recontextualizes his strictness. He isn't trying to raise good adults, he is trying to keep his employees in line. The alleged reports mention a specific incident involving a car purchase where Trent supposedly exploded, not about the safety of the vehicle, but about how it would look on camera and whether it fit the brand of the show. This obsession with image over reality is the crack in the facade that is starting to widen. Furthermore, let's discuss the ghost producer theory. Fans have noticed that the storylines are becoming eerily similar to other TLC shows, almost beat for beat. The theory here is that the Johnstons have lost creative control. In the beginning, it was their life, filmed. Now it is a script, acted out by them. We are hearing that a new showrunner was brought in with a mandate to spike the drama or face cancellation. This unnamed executive is allegedly the puppet master behind the sudden conflicts and the weird, forced activities. Remember the dance videos? The awkward role-playing games? Those aren't quirky family fun. Those are assigned tasks. The report claims that the family has a quota of viral moments they must attempt to create each week. If they fail to generate enough social media engagement, they are penalized. This creates a pressure cooker environment where every interaction is calculated for clicks. And what about Jonah? He has been the subject of so much scrutiny regarding his motivation and his career. But the dark theory suggests Jonah knows the most. As the eldest, he has seen the transition from normal family to reality stars most clearly. The rumors suggest Jonah's laziness, or lack of direction, is actually a form of silent protest. He is refusing to play the game. By not giving the producers what they want, a high-achieving, dramatic success story, he is sabotaging the product. It's a passive resistance. There are whispers that Jonah has written a memoir, a manuscript that is currently sitting on a hard drive, encrypted and waiting. The contents of this book are said to detail the specific instructions the kids were given before interviews, the lines they were fed, and the times they were told to cry on cue. If this manuscript exists, it is a nuclear bomb waiting to drop on the entire network. Now, Consider the timeline of the foreign exchange student arc. Do you remember how abruptly that ended? How weird the vibes were? Our source claims that this wasn't a simple hosting situation. The theory is that this was a test run for a spin-off that failed miserably, and the family was blamed for the lack of chemistry. The resentment from that failed business venture allegedly caused a rift between Trent and Amber that has never truly healed, leading to the separate bedroom speculation that has plagued the forums. While they claim it's for sleep quality, the insider theory suggests they are living virtually separate lives when the cameras are off, communicating mostly through production assistants and scheduling apps. They come together to film the scenes, perform the happy couple routine, and then retreat to their respective corners. This leads us to the most disturbing allegation of all: the mole. We believe, based on patterns in the leaks and the specific phrasing of the insider reports, that the source leaking this information is not a disgruntled employee, but one of the Johnstons themselves. Someone inside the house is trying to burn it down. We have analyzed the syntax of the leaked messages and cross-referenced them with the public posts of the family members. There are striking similarities in the vocabulary used by this anonymous source and one of the siblings. We aren't going to name names yet because we are still verifying the data. But if our theory is correct, Season 15 will not be a season of celebration. It will be the season where the betrayal is revealed on camera. The calls are coming from inside the house. Think about the implications of the Delta text. This is a rumored screenshot that allegedly shows a text message from Amber to a producer, disparaging the fans. The text supposedly refers to the audience as gullible Czechs. If this text is real, and if it gets out, the show is dead. The report states that this text is being held as leverage by the mole, waiting for the right moment to destroy the parents' credibility completely. We are watching a game of chess, not a reality show. Every move, every post, every interview is a calculated maneuver in a high-stakes war for control of the narrative and the money. We also have to look at the sudden influx of new friends appearing on the show. Who are these people? The exclusive theory is that the family has become so isolated in their local community due to their fame and the strict NDAs they require friends to sign, that the production company has resorted to casting friends. These are allegedly aspiring actors hired to play the role of confidants. This explains why the conversations feel so wooden and expository. They aren't catching up, they are reciting plot points. It creates a Truman Show vibe that is unsettling once you notice it. The Johnstons are living in a constructed bubble, surrounded by employees and actors, with no genuine connection to the outside world except through the distorted lens of the camera. The silence from TLC regarding these rumors is deafening. Usually, when fake news spreads, a network will issue a denial or have the talent post a debunking video. But this time? Radio silence. Why? Because you don't draw attention to a leak if the leak is true. You hope it goes away. By ignoring these reports, they are inadvertently validating them. They are hoping you won't dig deeper. They are hoping you will just watch the next episode and buy the products. But we are digging deeper. We are looking at the property records, the business filings, and the deleted tweets. We are seeing patterns in the chaos. We are seeing a family that is being eaten alive by the monster they created. The Seven Little Johnstons isn't a show about a family overcoming the odds anymore. It is a documentary about the corrosive nature of fame. And the tragic part is, the kids are the collateral damage. They didn't sign up for this. They were drafted. And now that they are adults, the war for their freedom is happening right in front of our eyes, hidden in plain sight. The war for their freedom is being fought on multiple fronts, but the most silent and devastating battleground involves the two youngest members of the clan, Alex and Emma. While the older siblings have begun to establish their own perimeters, physically moving out even if the emotional tethers remain, Alex and Emma are reportedly subject to what insiders are calling the golden handcuffs protocol. We have uncovered a disturbing theory suggesting that the parents, terrified of the show losing its core cast as the older kids drift away, have doubled down on the psychological management of the youngest two. Think about it. If Jonah, Anna, Liz, and the others start their own lives, the show loses its chaotic ensemble energy. Who is left to carry the torch? Alex and Emma are the insurance policy. Insider reports we are analyzing suggest that the educational paths of these two are being heavily influenced, if not outright dictated, by production needs. There is speculation that their college choices and career aspirations are being filtered through a lens of what films best, rather than what they actually want to do. We have heard whispers of a gap year narrative being workshopped for Alex, not because he needs a break, but because the production schedule for the next season requires him to be available for filming 24/7. This allegedly led to a private breakdown that was conveniently kept off camera, where Alex expressed a desire to study out of state, far out of state, only to be guilt-tripped into staying local with promises of a better car and more freedom that never actually materialized. And let's talk about the Emma's Boutique storyline. On the surface, it's a charming story of entrepreneurship. But dig a little deeper into the business filings and the online traffic analysis, and a darker theory emerges. Some internet sleuths believe the boutique isn't just a hobby, it's a funnel. The theory posits that the revenue generated by the shop is being commingled with the family trust in a way that makes it difficult for Emma to distinguish her personal earnings from the family pot. We have seen alleged screenshots from a deleted Instagram story where Emma vented about working for free, which was scrubbed within minutes. Was she joking? Or was she accidentally revealing that her business is actually owned by the parents, with her serving as the unpaid face of the brand? If true, this is a textbook case of financial enmeshment designed to keep her dependent on the family infrastructure well into her 20s. This brings us to the medical manipulation theory, which is perhaps the most ethically gray area of all. Reality TV loves a medical scare. It provides high stakes, tears, and a natural story arc. But cross-referencing the filming dates with the actual medical records that have been publicly alluded to, a disturbing pattern appears. There are reports that elective procedures or non-urgent surgeries have been strategically rescheduled to align with sweeps weeks, the periods when TV ratings are most critical for advertising revenue. Imagine the psychological toll of having a legitimate health concern only to be told by your parents, who are also your producers, that you need to wait 3 months to get it fixed so the recovery can be filmed for the season finale. Or conversely, being rushed into a procedure you aren't ready for because the mid-season episodes are running thin on drama. We have received an anonymous tip claiming that one of the cast members was pressured to exaggerate the severity of a post-surgery complication. The cameras were allegedly set up, the lighting was adjusted, and the individual was coached to play up the pain to garner sympathy from the audience. This isn't just acting, this is medical gaslighting. It blurs the line between a child's physical reality and the fictional narrative the network needs to sell. It creates a world where you don't know if your pain is real or if it's just another prop for the show. Then there is the forbidden boyfriend file. We all know about the relationships that make it to air, the awkward first dates, the promposals. But what about the ones that don't? We have a very strong theory based on local sightings in Forsyth, Georgia, that one of the kids was in a serious long-term relationship that was entirely erased from the show. Why? Because the partner refused to sign the NDA. The rumor is that Trent and Amber have a non-negotiable rule. If you don't sign the release forms, you don't exist. This allegedly led to a heartbreaking ultimatum given to one of the siblings. Dump the person you love, or we cut you out of the will in the show. The sibling reportedly chose the family, but the resentment from that forced breakup is the dark matter that fuels the anger we see in their eyes in later seasons. They aren't mad about the dishwasher not being loaded. They are mad about the love they were forced to sacrifice on the altar of ratings. This leads into the surveillance state theory regarding the family home. Have you noticed how the parents always seem to know exactly what the kids are doing, even when they aren't in the room? The official explanation is that they are just involved parents. The unauthorized theory is much more Orwellian. We are hearing reports that the house is rigged, not just with production cameras, but with personal security cameras that Trent and Amber monitor from their phones. The theory suggests that the kids have zero expectation of privacy, even in their own bedrooms. Allegedly, there are nanny cams disguised as smoke detectors or decor that allow the parents to listen in on conversations the kids have with their friends. This would explain why Anna and the others often resort to texting each other even when they are in the same house. They know the walls have ears. It creates a paranoid atmosphere where the siblings have to develop their own coded language to communicate without the warden finding out. We must also discuss the fan plant operation. This is a tactic used in high-level PR crises, and there is mounting evidence it is being deployed here. Whenever a wave of backlash hits Trent and Amber for being too controlling, suddenly, hundreds of new accounts appear on social media defending them and attacking the kids. Anna is just difficult, they say. Jonah is lazy. Trent is just looking out for them. We have traced the IP addresses of some of these staunch defenders, and the exclusive theory is that they trace back to a reputation management firm allegedly hired by the family's LLC. They are paying for bots and shills to gaslight the audience into thinking the parents are saints and the children are ungrateful. Even worse, there is a sickening rumor that the parents themselves operate burner accounts to leave critical comments on their own children's posts. Why would they do that? To lower the kids' self-esteem so they feel they need the parents' protection from the cruel world. It's a digital version of Munchausen by proxy, creating the problem so they can be the solution. Let's pivot to the real estate shell game. The show makes a big deal about the kids buying homes. It's a symbol of their success. But have you ever pulled the actual property tax records? We have reports that suggest the deeds to some of these homes are not in the kids' names alone. The theory is that Trent and Amber are listed as majority owners or trustees, meaning the kids are essentially paying mortgages on houses they don't actually control. If they try to leave the show, the parents can allegedly threaten to foreclose or evict them from the homes they bought. It's a feudal system disguised as the American dream. The kids are serfs on the Johnston estate, working the land for the lords in exchange for a roof over their heads that can be taken away at any moment. This financial control extends to the cars as well. The car dealership conspiracy is a favorite among insiders. Trent loves cars. That's his brand. But the theory suggests the constant buying and selling of vehicles isn't just a hobby. It's a tax dodge. By cycling through vehicles and writing them off as production assets for the show, the family can allegedly hide income. But the kids get the short end of the stick. They are given cars that are technically company vehicles. This means if they want to drive to a job interview that isn't approved by the parents, or visit a friend the parents don't like, Trent can reportedly revoke their driving privileges by claiming the car is needed for filming. It tethers their mobility directly to their compliance. Now we have to address the Delta text fallout mentioned earlier. Since we dropped that nugget of information, our inbox has been flooded with corroborating stories. One source, claiming to be a vendor who worked with the family on a home renovation project, states that the on-camera personality of the parents is a complete fabrication. Off-camera, this source alleges, they are dismissive, demanding, and openly mock the silly little show that pays their bills. This source claims to have overheard a conversation where the parents discussed milking the cow for 2 more seasons before selling the house and retiring to a location where nobody knows who we are. This contradicts everything they tell the fans about loving their community. It suggests an exit strategy is already in place, one that leaves the kids behind to deal with the wreckage of their public image while the parents ride off into the sunset with the cash. This connects to the spin-off Sabotage. There have been rumors for years that TLC wanted to give the older kids a spin-off, something like Johnston Kids in the City. It would focus on Anna, Liz, and Jonah living together away from the parents. The audience wants it. The network reportedly wanted it. So why hasn't it happened? The dark theory is that Trent and Amber vetoed it. They allegedly threatened to walk if the network gave the kids their own show. Why? Because they know that if the kids get a taste of being the stars without the parents hovering over them, the main show is dead. They are cannibalizing their children's potential careers to keep their own relevance alive. They would rather the kids be unhappy co-stars on their show than successful stars of their own show. And what about the lost dog incident? Do you remember when the family dog passed away? It was a tearjerker. But an insider suggests the timeline of that event was manipulated too. The allegation is that the dog had passed away weeks prior, but the announcement and the reaction scenes were filmed later to fit the narrative arc of the episode. If true, it means we watch the family mourning a loss that they had already processed, forcing them to reopen a wound and perform grief for the cameras. It's emotionally predatory. It teaches the kids that their saddest moments are content to be harvested, not feelings to be felt. There is also the Trent's secret job theory. We know he worked in groundskeeping, but lately his job status has been vague. Some reports suggest he was quietly let go or forced to resign due to the distractions of the show, but the family covered it up to maintain the image of the hard-working provider. If he is actually unemployed and fully dependent on the show's income, it explains the desperation. It explains the short fuse. It explains why he needs everyone to fall in line. He has no plan B. The show is the only thing keeping the lights on, and that terror is what drives the toxicity. We must also look at the vacations. You see them go on these trips, and it looks like fun. But insiders claim these are the most stressful times of the year. The vacations are allegedly grueling 16-hour workdays where the family is herded from location to location to get the perfect shot. We have heard reports of public screaming matches in hotel lobbies that were never aired, involving threats to send the kids home on a bus if they didn't smile for the zipline adventure. A source at a resort they visited claims the family did not eat dinner together once off camera. They ordered room service separately and stayed in their rooms to avoid each other until the cameras rolled the next morning. Finally, in this section, we need to talk about the NDA breach that is rumored to be coming. There is chatter on the dark web of reality TV forums that a former friend of Liz is preparing to sell a story to a major tabloid. This friend allegedly has text messages from Liz detailing the scripting of her pregnancy announcement. The theory is that the pregnancy was known to the family for months, but they were forced to pretend they didn't know so the shock reveal could be filmed. If these texts leak, it proves that the most intimate moment of Liz's life was reduced to a plot twist. It strips away the last shred of authenticity the show has. And the parents are reportedly terrified. Legal letters have allegedly been sent. The wagons are circling. But you can't sue the truth into silence forever. The dam is breaking. The water is rising. And the Johnstons are running out of sandbags. We have reached the tipping point of the investigation, the moment where the scattered pieces of evidence coalesce into a terrifying picture of a family empire on the brink of total collapse. If you thought the financial control and the emotional manipulation were the bottom of the iceberg, you are wrong. The insider reports we have just received point to a grand exit strategy that Trent and Amber have been allegedly architecting for the last 18 months, a plan that effectively treats their children not as heirs, but as liquidated assets. The theory circulating among high-level industry sources is that the parents are not planning to pass the baton. They are planning to sell the franchise rights and vanish. We are hearing whispers of a syndication sell-off clause in their latest contract. This clause allegedly grants the network perpetual, unrestricted rights to the children's likenesses, past, present, and future, in exchange for a massive lump sum payout that goes directly to the parents' holding company. This means that even if Anna, Jonah, or Liz want to walk away from the cameras tomorrow, their faces could be used in reruns, merchandise, and promotional materials for decades, with the royalties flowing into an account they cannot touch. They are essentially selling their children's digital souls to secure their own retirement. This explains the frantic pace of the recent seasons. The exclusive theory suggests that the parents are trying to cram as much content as possible into the current contract window to maximize the valuation of the library before they cash out. Every manufactured fight, every forced reconciliation, every medical scare increases the value of the Johnston brand package. The kids are running on a hamster wheel, thinking they are working toward a future where they take over the show, unaware that the wheel is about to be sold for scrap. This betrayal is the nuclear option that the whistleblower, the mole, is supposedly trying to prevent by leaking these documents. But it gets darker. Let's talk about the Jonah Code. Internet sleuths and body language experts have been analyzing Jonah's behavior in season 14 frame by frame, and they believe they have found a distress signal. The theory is that Jonah, knowing he is being monitored by the surveillance state in the house and silenced by NDAs, has resorted to nonverbal communication. Watch the episodes again. Notice the color of his shirts during the confessionals, where he is forced to agree with Trent. There is a pattern. Whenever he is allegedly lying to cover for his parents, he looks down and to the left. Whenever he is trying to signal that a scene is staged, he uses a specific phrase, supposedly, you know, in a repetitive cadence that breaks his normal speech pattern. Some fans believe this is a pre-arranged code with Anna, a way for the siblings to communicate the truth to each other right under the parents' noses. It's a silent scream for help broadcast to millions of people who are too busy laughing at the jokes to notice the hostage video playing out in front of them. Then there is the editor's mutiny. Have you noticed the sloppy editing lately? The continuity errors? The shots that linger a little too long on Amber's scowl or Trent's red-faced anger? The official story is that the production team is rushed. The dark theory is that the editors are revolting. These are the people who see the raw footage. They see the tears that are wiped away before the action is called. They hear the verbal abuse on the hot mics. The theory suggests that the crew has turned against the parents and is subtly sabotaging the show from the editing bay. They are leaving in the mask slip moments on purpose. They are framing the shots to make the parents look villainous because they can no longer stomach the narrative of the happy family. We are watching a civil war between the talent and the crew, and the editors are weaponizing the final cut to expose the truth without breaking their own contracts. We must also address the international fallout regarding the exchange student program. The rumors suggest this wasn't just a failed storyline. It was a diplomatic incident. The reports claim that the student who lived with them filed a formal complaint with the placement agency regarding the filming conditions. This report allegedly details how the student was treated as an unpaid extra, forced to participate in scenes, and denied privacy. If this report surfaces, it could lead to an investigation into child labor law violations that goes beyond just the Johnston kids. It could bring the Department of Labor to their doorstep. The family's abrupt silence on the matter, and the total erasure of that student from their social media history, suggests they are terrified of this specific skeleton in their closet. They didn't just have a bad hosting experience. They allegedly narrowly avoided a lawsuit that would have exposed their operation to federal scrutiny. Now consider the Liz and Bryce custody contingency. This is the most chilling legal theory of all. We have heard that before the wedding, there was a dispute not about a prenup, but about a filming rights agreement for the baby. The rumor is that Trent and Amber pushed for a contract that gives the show, and by extension, them, exclusive media rights to the grandchild. This would mean that Liz and Bryce cannot post photos of their own child on social media or accept their own brand deals involving the baby without the executive producer's permission. If this is true, it means the parents have effectively franchised their grandchild before she could even walk. It turns the baby into intellectual property. The tension we see between Bryce and Trent isn't father-in-law awkwardness. It's the hostility of a father who realizes he is married into a family that views his daughter as a season 16 plot point. There is also the October 14th incident. This is a date that keeps popping up in the leaked timelines. According to police scanner archives that were quickly scrubbed but allegedly archived by a dedicated fan, there was a call to the Johnston residence late that night. The nature of the call was listed as a domestic disturbance, but no police report was ever filed. The exclusive theory is that this was the night the mole was caught. It was the night the parents found the burner phone or the hidden hard drive. The screaming match that ensued was reportedly so loud the neighbors considered intervening. Since that date, the family's social media has been noticeably curated, more sterile. They are in damage control mode. The smiles are tighter. The eyes are emptier. Something broke that night, and they are frantically trying to glue the pieces back together before the cameras roll again. We also have to look at the network replacement plan. TLC is a business. They see the ratings dipping, they see the toxicity rising, they read the forums. The Basimam insider claims the network is already quietly casting for a replacement family. They are looking for the next Johnston's, a fresh, uncorrupted family to take the time slot. The Johnstons know this. They can feel the axe hovering over their necks. This explains the desperation to generate drama. They are fighting for their survival. They are trying to prove they are still good TV by ratcheting up the conflict, unaware that they are digging their own graves. The more toxic they become to save the show, the more they alienate the audience, accelerating their own cancellation. It is a death spiral. And what about the Amber Files? This is a rumor that borders on psychological thriller territory. The theory posits that Amber maintains a digital dossier on every member of the family, including the adult children. This dossier allegedly contains embarrassing photos, recorded conversations, and secrets that could ruin their reputations or relationships. This is her insurance policy. If Anna writes a book, the files leak. If Jonah quits, the files leak. It keeps everyone in line through the threat of mutually assured destruction. It paints a picture of a matriarch who rules not through love, but through blackmail. It sounds insane, but when you look at how terrified the kids seem of crossing her, even over minor things like decorating choices, you have to wonder what she's holding over their heads. The debt bubble is the final nail in the coffin. Despite the high net worth estimates, there is a theory that the family is cash poor and drowning in debt. The lifestyle creep, the renovations, the cars, the constant spending, has allegedly outpaced their liquid income. The exclusive reports suggest they are leveraged to the hilt, living on credit extended based on future seasons' earnings. If the show is canceled, the house of cards collapses instantly. Bankruptcy. Foreclosure. Total financial ruin. This is why Trent is so angry. This is why he panics when the kids threaten the status quo. He isn't protecting a legacy. He is trying to prevent the repo man from taking the trucks. He is a man standing on a trapdoor, and the kids are playing with the lever. We are witnessing the final act of a tragedy. The 7 Little Johnstons started as a show about a loving family facing the world together. It has morphed into a dark, psychological experiment about what happens when you monetize intimacy and turn love into a contractual obligation. The insider news isn't the rumors we are reporting. The insider news is the show itself. The edits are a lie. The confessionals are the script. The reality is what we are piecing together in the shadows. Do not look away. Do not let them sweep this under the rug. The silence from the network is their confession. The deletion of comments is their admission of guilt. We are the only ones asking the questions that matter. We are the only ones fighting for the truth of what is happening to Anna, Jonah, Liz, Alex, and Emma. If you want to be part of the movement that exposes the reality behind reality TV, you know what to do. Smash that like button until it breaks. Subscribe to the channel right now. Share this video on every forum, every fan page, every subreddit. Force the algorithm to show the world the truth. We will not stop digging until the lost episode is released. We will not stop until the NDAs are broken. We will not stop until the Johnstons are free. I am your host, and this has been 7 Little People. The truth is out there, but only if you are brave enough to look for it. Stay vigilant, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay tuned, because the next leak is already in our inbox, and it is going to change everything.